Today I'm testing out a whole bunch of new products, all cruelty-free and vegan, from the brand Clover by Clove and Hallow. I have never heard of this brand before until I was scrolling Instagram the other day and I was served a sponsored post or an ad for the brand from the founder. And I didn't need any new makeup, so I wasn't going to buy it. But I saw that the brand talks about being cruelty-free and vegan with an emphasis on sustainability, and I couldn't turn it down when I saw all of those things, because those are all of the things that I try to feature here on Unfiltered Makeup, and so I thought, how could I not share it with you? I was most excited about trying out this Camo Cover Concealer by Clover because it's supposed to be a dupe for the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer, which is not cruelty-free or vegan. And I got that in my makeup kit when I signed up for my makeup course. I got a kit along with it, and in it had the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. And so I've used it and tested it and I really like it, but of course I wanted to find a cruelty-free and vegan dupe for it. So I'm super excited to put it to the test and see how it compares to the Makeup Forever concealer and how it just stands up as a concealer on its own. So the rest of the products I got the full glass skin set according to the website, and it was a bundle which included, we've got 4 items from that, which is, of course, the Camo Cover Concealer, which I just showed you. And then also this Skin is in Serum Foundation, which is supposed to be a dupe for the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. As well as the Pressed Silk Blushing Balm, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Makeup by Mario, one of the blush veils, and it's supposed to be a dupe for that, though I do just want to mention quickly here that that is a cruelty-free and vegan product already, but it's supposed to be a dupe for that. And then I also have the Glow Stick Illuminator, and this is in the color Clio, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Chanel Balm. And so this is a cruelty-free, vegan, sustainable option in place of that. But I'm just going to test all of these. A lot of these products I haven't tried what they're the dupes for, so I can't say how they all compare, but I'll just let you know how they perform on their own. In addition to the glass skin bundle, I also got the eye trio, which includes a maxed out mascara, which is a volumizing mascara. It also included a gel all lined up eyeliner, and I got the shade brown in this one. And this is the Plush Pigment Stick Eyeshadow Stick Crayon, which I got in the shade Sandstone. So I will be trying all of these products out for you today and letting you know my first impressions and my thoughts as we go along. Again, I don't really know much about this brand. Apparently it is from Clove and Hallow, which is also a makeup line. I haven't tried any products by that company, and I don't know really any more about that. I didn't really do more research. I'm just curious in this whole cruelty-free and vegan line that's sustainable, that I believe was started by the same founder. So I'm going to go ahead and test these out, and let's get started. As I'm opening up, unboxing everything here for the first time, I am noticing that something the brand talked about, besides being cruelty-free and vegan and sustainable, they mentioned being affordable. And all of the products are supposed to be priced between $12 and $25 to make them affordable, which is great. Everyone loves affordability. But of course, you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. Sometimes it's worth to splurge a little extra on the money if you're getting better ingredients, better quality. I can't speak to any of that right now, but what I am noticing is that the products here are somewhat smaller than I expected them to be. And I didn't look at them individually on the website to see how much was in each one. I just kind of assumed these are all the full size. These aren't mini items, but the foundation here is only 30 milliliters, which is standard foundations, typically about an ounce. And I think I paid about $15 for the foundation in a discounted bundle. So I will look up and see how much it costs, but I'll put it on the screen. But I'm just noticing that these are small. This concealer is only 5.9 milliliters. The blush here is only 3 milliliters. And so while I want to point out that it may be affordable to buy the individual items, I also think it's worth comparing it to the other items that you're looking at. So this is the Makeup Forever concealer, and this is the Clover concealer that are supposed to be the dupe. And for the concealer, I paid $12.60 with the discount. I will look up how much the Makeup Forever concealer retails for and compare the 15 milliliters to the 5.9 milliliters. So this is almost 3 times as much product. So even if it cost 3 times as much, you are still dollar for dollar, ounce for ounce getting the same value. So just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's actually cheaper per ounce. Just like if you're shopping at the grocery store and you look at how much everything costs per ounce, right? So, you know, it's marketing, take it with a grain of salt. So comparatively, the blush was $12.60, and I know that the Makeup by Mario blush that it's supposed to compare to retails for $30, but again, this is only 3 milliliters here. So comparatively, it's maybe not that much less expensive. So that's just something I'm noticing here before I even start getting into it. But let's go ahead and start getting into applying the makeup. So with anything, any makeup, anything that you're buying, of course, you know, just consider what you are purchasing, and let's, you know, consider the marketing and not always get caught up in the hype of it, which is easy to do. So I'm going to use a BK Beauty 101 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and apply the foundation. Now this does say that it is a buildable foundation. Oh, what shade did I get? I got shade 3, and I am more tan. I'm tan for myself right now because it's July. It's actually the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July if you celebrate. It's the 4th of July, and I have a little bit more tan color to my skin than I do, you know, in the cooler months here in the Pacific Northwest. But whoa. Let's try to blend this out. Oh my goodness. So this is shade 3, and this is really light. So what I was gonna say was, oh my gosh. So what I was gonna say was my skin is a little more tan. I'm a shade or 2 darker than my lightest shade. But I'm a little bit Morticia Adams over here. Whoa! So good to know the color on the shade 3 is very light. I would, you know, in like most shades, I pick up like a fairly light shade. I'm usually like a 2, level 2. 3, I actually got the 3, like I said, because I am a little bit tan for myself. So, whoa, this is so white. Okay, so let's not be too distracted by the color, and see if we can, let's not be too distracted by the color and see if we can get a feel for how the consistency is. So I've put some on a palette, so you can see it's a fairly thick consistency. It didn't drip down at all. It's just spread out on my brush, but you can see that it's raised, and so it's almost got kind of a really nice dense that it's like staying up in these little mountains that it's made. So it has a nice consistency to it. This is again called Skin is in Serum Foundation. So for a serum foundation, I actually find this to be, I would say, a bit thicker than I would expect from a serum foundation. Usually serum foundations are a little more thin and they run a little more. So it's a little thicker in consistency than I would expect. Also, I feel like the shade match, like on the palette, doesn't look that white, but on my face it's super pale. So that's interesting. It's supposed to be a very buildable coverage. So I have lots of freckles, which a coverage is not bad, but it's not really good either. I would say it's kind of a sheer coverage for how thick it is. I have dry skin and it seems to not be working very well with my dry skin. When I try to kind of smooth it out, it's just kind of peeling off my nose. I have like zero coverage on my nose. I can use some of this and go back in and see if I pat it. See if I pat it, then I can get a little better coverage. But when I try to get this coverage with this patting motion, it's thick and it's not blending well. It's like sitting on top of my skin around my lips. It's like settling into fine lines, and it just looks really thick, really makeup-y, really cakey. I'm trying to blend it out because it is looking really thick on my skin, but when I blend it, then I'm losing any coverage that it has. I would say it has a luminous finish, whether it's supposed to or not, I'm not sure. It looks so heavy. It looks awful for me. On my skin, this is absolutely no. It looks awful. All right, item 1, the Clover Skin is in Serum Foundation. For me, this is a big fail, but I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna move on to the Clover Camo Cover Concealer. Let's see how this does. This is the main reason I bought all of these products, and I bought all of these products with my own money, not affiliated, not sponsored. I wanted to give them a try, so I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze out some of this concealer. And it's kind of got a moussey consistency, and it looks, at first glance, it looks pretty similar in consistency to that Makeup Forever. Let's see if, so that is the concealer in the shade 2, and it's interesting. I feel like the shade of the concealer in the shade 2 is looking darker than the shade 3 of the foundation. So let's see what it looks like on, because I don't think that this foundation on the skin looks to be the same color. So let's see what the concealer looks like. Okay, so it does have kind of a peachy undertone, which is great for color correcting. So it's nice that it has that. And I'm just applying this with this Wet n Wild concealer brush. And if you missed last week, I talked about all of my favorite drugstore and high-end brushes, so check out that video. This was in there, and so was the BK Beauty brush that I showed you. I'm gonna go ahead and blend the rest of it out just with this big BK Beauty brush. As I'm working on the concealer, the foundation is like completely rubbing off and moving on my nose as well, so it's not staying in place. Have a big red stripe where it's just come off my nose. I'm applying a little of the concealer on my nose to see if I can get that to cover where the foundation is running away. I feel like pretty much immediately the concealer is settling into the lines and wrinkles around my eyes. It feels pretty thick in consistency, and not in like a good coverage way, but just in like a not not spreading out and blending very well. The concealer immediately seems to be settling into the lines and wrinkles around my eyes, and it looks really heavy on the skin. It looks very makeup-y and not natural. I do think it's giving pretty good coverage. I think it's covering anything under there, so that is one positive. And I can tell it needs to be set because it is immediately kind of falling into those lines, but it's also got a shiny sheen to it. So something I don't think they sell, I definitely didn't buy it, is some powder. So let me just quickly set this with some powder. All right, I did set the concealer, but it seems to already still be crinkling and wrinkling and just not my favorite. I will go ahead and give it another try head to head against the Makeup Forever concealer, but so far I am not liking it. This isn't going well. All right, next I'm moving on to the Clover blush in the shade Juiced. This is, it has a lot of condensation looking like it's on the top. It is very hot here, but it seems to be, the blush is even sweating. That's how hot it is here. Okay. Let's try some of this. It's a beautiful, beautiful color, I will say. This shade I love. So I'll be using the Angie Hot and Flashy BK Beauty A507 angled blush brush to apply this. Whoa, okay. It's looking very pigmented, so let's see if it goes on very pigmented. Yep, it goes on very pigmented. Really pops against this Morticia Addams foundation, doesn't it? All right, this might have been user error and I picked up too much to get started with. I should have started with a smaller amount and then built. So I'm gonna see if I can get this back to a slightly more manageable shade level. One way to remedy the situation if you happen to get too much blush on your cheeks is you can take your foundation brush and just any of that leftover product that it still has on it and just kind of go, especially around the edges, and just tap out and buff out and try to sheer out any of those lines. And look at how much better that's looking already. Ooh, okay, let me look, but I think we might have a winner here. Oh, this foundation is just awful. It's just making a huge mess on my nose with the concealer on top too. It's just moving around like crazy and coming off with the foundation. No. But let's look at this blush because I think I like it. Okay, so I'm looking at the blush. I love the color. It went on very pigmented. I could have even used less, but I do like some things about the blush, like the color, the application. You know, I talked about how it was kind of looking like it's sweating, and I don't know if that is normal, if it's supposed to do that, if it's just because it's hot, but it's kind of got that, you know, that juice glowy effect. But it's really glowy, and it might work with a different foundation, but because it's next to this really thick, heavy foundation that's not sitting on the skin very well, it's just emphasizing the texture and the differentiation between the two. So the texture on the cheek is shiny, it doesn't look bad, but next to this really matte, flat, textured foundation, it looks bad. Now this foundation, I mean this Now this blush, I might actually try with something else. Just like I'm gonna give this concealer another chance. I'm gonna try it and see if I actually do like it with a different foundation. It's pretty glossy, so it may or may not last and hold up. So I'm a little on the fence with it. I'd try it again, but it is got that really beautiful color, but it's got a real wet, juicy glossiness to it. And in person, it was so pigmented, and then I touched it up, and now in person it looks like barely there, but it's showing up a lot on the camera. So in person it looks a little bit different, but almost needs a little tiny bit more in person, and then it looks like a lot on the camera. So I think that's partially that kind of orangey, juicy color is really picking up on the camera, and it's really contrasting with the white. And in person, I will say it's not quite as severe, but it doesn't look good. Yeah, my face just looks wet where I applied this. Like, not like pretty glowy, just like wet, maybe sweaty. It looks like I'm just sweating off the foundation. So I will try the blush again. So far, it's all a no. The last face product from the Glass Skin is this illuminating highlighter. I don't think I need highlighter because I'm already glowing to the hills. I also don't really like this seems to have glitter in it. I like a shine, but I like a shine or a gloss, but I don't really like glitter as the highlighter, because I feel like it falls into you know, like smile lines and wrinkles and things like that. So we'll give this a try. Give it a fair shot. It is a really pretty color. The other one that they sold was just like clear, like a transparent one, and I definitely didn't want that because I don't want to look wet. If that is the look you're going for, that might work. But let's try this highlighter. Just gonna highlight the tops of my cheeks. I'll highlight my Cupid's bow up here. I'm not going to even bother highlighting my nose because there's no product left on it. How about under the eyebrows? This has that same wet effect as the blush, and it just looks like wet or sweaty to me. And so especially when you're applying it into the places of your face that you want to highlight, it's just going to look like you're sweating. No, this is no. All of this is no. Well, I feel like we just need to keep going. All right, I'm going to keep going with the eye trio, even though so far I feel like this is just turning into one big mess. But let's keep going. We have everything here. Let's give it a try. By the way, just so I looked a little more alive, I applied some lip gloss. So this is just the Pacifica Lip Plumping Gloss, which I mentioned a while back. It's good, not great, but I do like it. I love it a lot more than anything I showed you here today. So that's something. But let's go on with this Plush pigment stick. This is in the shade Sandstone. This is a lot harder than I expected it to be consistency-wise. All right, so I'm just going to take a BK Beauty 201 brush. I was using a knife and palette to try to put this on and then use the brush to apply it in order to keep it hygienic in case it was something I wanted to include in my makeup kit. But it's really not working at all that way. So I'm going to go ahead and just decide to take it into my personal collection here. I'm going to try to warm it up on my hand. Oh, it's really hard. And it's warm out, so it's very warm today. So if any day it should be working, it would be today. All right, there's the color. This color doesn't really do anything for me, not on the eyes anyway. It's almost like powdery and patchy. But I am gonna try and go into the I'm gonna try and go onto the eyes and see how it applies, since it wasn't working with the brush. My hand warmed it up a little bit. I do love an eyeshadow stick crayon for the ease. So here it is on this eye. It's really not doing anything for me here. I'm having to put a lot on it, and it still doesn't look like anything. Okay, another no, thank you, pass. No thank you, I tried it, I'll pass. This Clover pigment stick is supposed to be a dupe for the Laura Mercier caviar sticks. And I do have a caviar stick in a different color here that I can show you as just a comparison, but I do want to say that this is not cruelty free, so I just want to point that out before I show you. But I do have to say it is a far superior product, and I wouldn't call that a dupe. So just a couple of swipes of this compared to that, yes, it's a different color, but you just get such a better payoff of the pigment. It's a nicer formula. It's more opaque. It's just, this is a really beautiful formula, and I'm just, this is so thin and sheer, and it just feels kind of like a really thin, like lip balm or something. But it's hard to apply, and this is so soft, and it's easy to blend out. So unfortunately today I don't have a cruelty-free or vegan dupe suggestion for you on that, but I just wanted to mention that I don't think that specifically is a good dupe. This is the gel eyeliner, and I bought the brown shade because I already have a cruelty-free vegan black eyeliner, the Inglot gel eyeliner in black, that I absolutely love. So I thought, well, at least I'll give this a try in brown, and if I add it to my kit, then I'll have a brown alternative. I don't know, it's been hot, and maybe just in the shipment this is cracked. It came like this, it looked like this when I opened. It looks like it could be dried out, but let's go ahead and test it out. When I put my palette knife in here, it doesn't feel dried out at all. So it looks like it's probably okay. It looks like it just probably split. I'm going to be using the BK Beauty 208 brush, which is this teeny tiny eyeliner brush. All right, I think I like this eyeliner. I'm happy with how it applied and how it seems to have dried down so far, and the opacity of it and everything. I think it turned out nicely. So I am going to say that that actually is a winner. So good job on that all lined up eyeliner, Clover. That I like. So now we have the very last product to try. And this is the Maxed Out Mascara, and I'm going to go ahead and just apply it, and I'll give you my reactions. So far, just after opening it, I do like this style brush. It's a nice big brush. It's got smaller bristles on one side and a little bit, It seems to have smaller bristles on one side and a little bit bigger on the other. It's hard to tell even in person. Remind me not to film on 4th of July. All right, I like this too. I like the mascara. I like how it goes on. It is volumizing like it says. This is just with one coat. I did have a little bit of transfer in places. Maybe transfer is a little bit, maybe it's a little messy. I'm hoping when it dries down that goes away. But I do think I like this, and this is something I wouldn't mind continuing to use. And that finishes it off with the mascara. At least we ended on a high note with the mascara and the eyeliner. I think those both worked out really well, and I'm actually really happy with both of those products. So let's go back and do a quick review of everything and do a quick rundown. For the glass skin set, we had the foundation, concealer, blush, and highlighter. For the foundation, I think the shade was very light for being a 3, much lighter than I would have expected. It also felt heavy, cakey, and it emphasized lines and texture that I don't normally see on my own skin. So for me, this foundation is a pass. Now, the concealer, I'm a little bit on the fence about. You can see that even though I said it, if you look really closely, it's really settled into this line under my eye here, and it kind of turned hard and crusty, which is gross. It didn't do it as bad on the other eye, so I'm going to go ahead and give the concealer another try with the foundation that I know and like, that I know I like. So I'm going to give it another try. But so far, I'm not blown away by it, and I'm a little bit concerned that it's not a great dupe. The blush is a absolutely beautiful color, but it absolutely just looks like wet and gross, greasy on my face. So unfortunately, I would have to say the blush is also a no for me. As far as the illuminating stick, it was more grease in more areas of my face. It's not my favorite type of formulation anyway, and then throw in that glitter on it too. It's just a big no from me too. Sorry. And next we have the eye trio, which was the eyeshadow stick, the eyeliner, and the mascara. This eyeshadow stick crayon could not be a bigger no from me. I don't like anything about it. Loved this eyeliner, this gel eyeliner, especially in the brown shade. I absolutely love this, and it was a pleasure to apply, and I think it's dried down nicely and set very well. So I like this. And as far as the mascara, with one coat, I got great volume. It was a little bit messy, but I seem to have been able to clean it up well, and I really like it, and I'm going to go ahead and keep trying it. And I'll report back and let you know. But so far, those were the winners of the Clover all vegan and cruelty-free makeup in sustainable packaging, which I absolutely appreciate. But it has to be good, because there is good cruelty-free and vegan makeup out there. Bonus when it's sustainable. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Anne Marie. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Unfiltered Makeup. If you've made it this far, in the comments below, leave me what you would like to see next here on the channel. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.